When I say the word funeral, this is probably one of the images that pops into your head. A flower-draped metal casket awaiting mourners and internment in the grave. But increasingly, this image of the traditional funeral is being replaced as boomers begin to demand an array of options from the funeral industry.
The boomer generation is not as traditional as the generation before. The generation before was pretty solid with casket, vault, embalming, visitation, the whole 9 yards. And the boomer generation is definitely open to with cremation, with whole body donation.
They're wanting options, and they're not settling for just the Amazing Grace old rugged cross in the garden.
The first area where boomers are impacting the funeral industry is cost. The National Funeral Directors Association reports the average cost of a funeral with casket and vault, but not including cemetery plot and monument, is over $8,000. Boomers are consumers, and they're ready to comparison shop before buying.
I think for a period of time, people thought that all funeral directors were the same, all costs were the same, so it didn't matter who you chose, but it does, and there is a wide variance in cost.
And the funeral services themselves are changing.
Everybody wants something unique now, and I think that is really being brought on by the baby boomer generation.
We see people especially bringing in memorabilia to services to personalize what their loved one was about in life, what they cherished, what they valued. We'll have like music for the visitation, or different ways to personalize it for like balloon releases or dove releases. Different ways just to not have just the cut and dry traditional funeral, to make it more, oh, that's so mom, or that's so dad.
Personalization doesn't stop with music and memorabilia. If you're a sportsman or an outdoorsman, you can choose this hunter's casket with elk horn handles and a camouflage interior. And for the biker or motorhead, how about this diamond plate casket? You can even choose a Harley-Davidson hearse for the trip to the gravesite. Boomers are driving other trends in the industry, none more so than cremation. This year, for the first time ever, cremations are expected to outnumber traditional burials. And by 2030, cremations are projected to rise to over 70%.
Cost is driving it. There's no question, you can't deny that. There are people out there that just simply can't afford a traditional funeral service.
Direct cremation through a crematory can cost less than $1,000, but the average is between $1,500 and $3,000. Adding full memorial service, burial of the urn, marker, and so forth will increase the cost, but cremation is the most affordable option.
It is more accepted now among all walks and religions. The Catholic Church used to be against cremation, and now it's acceptable. Even some of the Catholic churches here in the city of Memphis are putting in columbariums.
This casket represents one of the newest trends in the funeral industry, green burial.
Green burials are burials that help to make a small impact on the surrounding habitat. They produce very little in the way of emissions, and they conserve natural resources in as much as possible.
The green burial casket is made of biodegradable and renewable material, but even a simple cardboard box can be used. Embalming, if requested, uses eco-friendly natural chemicals. A true green burial uses no vault. The body is allowed to decompose and return naturally to the earth. 2 cemeteries in Memphis allow green burials, but Elmwood is the only cemetery that doesn't require a vault. The funeral industry may call green burial a new trend, but actually it dates back to the earliest days of Elmwood's history.
Because green burials have been around for thousands of years. That's what most cultures have done up until the advent of refrigeration.
Ecological concerns are the main reasons families and individuals choose green burial. But what about cost? Green burials can be less expensive, But an elaborate green funeral can cost as much or more than a traditional service. The funeral homes and cemeteries we talked with have performed only a handful of green funerals, but they agree that it's a trend that's here to stay.
I think it will grow. I don't think it will ever dominate the funeral industry.
I think that it will take probably a quarter of the business in my estimation, whereas most of your business will end in cremation, but I think a good half of that eventually will still be a traditional funeral service before the cremation.
For boomers who are truly thinking outside the box, there is an alternative to metal caskets, green burials, and cremation: whole body donation. This is the Medical Education and Research Institute, or MERI, located in Midtown Memphis. Along with the Body Donor Program at the UT Health Sciences Center, the Genesis program at MERI accepts whole body donations for use in training surgeons and developing new surgical instruments and techniques.
So when they come to our facility to get hands-on training, it's like they're in an operating room. The donors are not embalmed, so they get a realistic feel just like they were going to go in to do a procedure.
There's nothing that can replace actually physically performing something and doing something yourself. You can see it on a computer, you can read about it, but there's nothing like actually doing it. And I don't know about you, but as a patient, I would prefer that my healthcare provider has really performed a surgical technique or perfected their skills another way besides on me. And I think that's what we provide here. We provide that continuing education piece and the opportunity for that person to physically touch and do.
MERI will receive about 700 donors this year and provide training for over 13,000 surgeons. But advancing the science of medicine is just one reason for boomers to choose whole body donation.
Not only can they give back and feel like they're doing something for their fellow man, but it's also a way not to impose expenses upon your children and family that are unnecessary.
MERI covers all costs for body donors, including transportation and death certificates. When the donor's stay at MERI is complete, the body is cremated at no charge and either returned to the family or interred in a local mausoleum.
I had the opportunity to have my dad here as a donor in the past year, and then my mother passed away as well in the last year, and she wanted the traditional burial. And I will tell you, it was much easier on the family to donate to MERI because they take such good care of you. And there's just so many details that you don't have to deal with. And honestly, I can feel good about my father being here, and I work here and I know, the benefits of that, so I felt good about the things that he was able to do.
One of the last decisions any of us will make in this world is the disposition of our earthly remains. And some boomers may not be content with the earthly options. Elysium Space is one of two companies that will rocket your remains into orbit. Your loved ones can even follow your trip into the cosmos with a smartphone app.